3 pages. I don't know if I can get it all in 10 minutes or not. When I got the text from Brother Doug, of course it came through on my phone, and I didn't read it all. I saw part of it, and I didn't read it all, and because I saw it said he was thanking us for getting the communion together, so I didn't really read it all. I thought, well, I'll just read it later. And so when I sat down and I really read it, I saw that he was asking if me or Danny wanted to do the 10-minute talk. And since Danny had done it not so long ago, Danny looked at me and he said, "It's all you." And I was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. And he's like, you don't know what you're going to talk about? You talk before your feet ever hit the floor every day. So I was, well, let me introduce myself. For those of y'all that don't know me, I'm Janet Wilkerson. And growing up, I was known as Brother Doug's stepsister. And my mom was married to his dad, which means that my mom is an ex, and Moni back there is an ex, so which means miracles really do happen. So that we're all going together in the same church. So, and I say that jokingly, and I just wanted to say that those that are divorced or that are thinking about getting divorced, don't use your kids as weapons. And those are decisions that are made by 2 consenting adults. And just leave your kids out of it. And just don't use your kids in that war. And that's just free advice. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. And that doesn't go towards my 10 minutes, okay, Brother Doug? Okay. When I was trying to decide what to talk about, I thought, well, I'm not a teacher like most of the people that get up here, and I haven't fought any kind of sickness that I was healed from, thank God on that. And I thought, well, what am I going to talk about? And the only thing that kept coming to me was the word loss. And I thought, well, I sure know about loss. Sorry. Let me rewind back about 9 years. Give me just a minute. I'll start back 9 years ago. Start when Danny and I married. It'll be about October 2008. We both worked at the same place. And that place closed the doors. We actually married October 1st. I lost my job the end of September. He lost his job October the 8th. And you have to remember, we have 5 kids. At that time, they were 16, 14, 10, 9, and 6. You have 5 kids at that age, 2 parents, no jobs. We have exes that don't want to work with us. You have child support, still have to pay, or Dad goes to jail if you don't pay that child support. We have 2 homes. We have vehicles. We have bills we can't pay. So needless to say, Through the years, I lost my home first. We lost his home. We lost his truck. And I'm not saying we didn't make bad choices, because we did. We made a lot of bad choices. And it's hard to get up here and talk about loss, because it's embarrassing. It's hard to talk about. And I know that is just stuff. It's material things. And I know one day that's all going to go away. But somewhere in that whirlwind of the big mess and me trying to keep my head above water, my youngest son came to me and says, "Mom, I think I want to go live with my dad." So not only do I lose my home, I also lose my son. Because at that time, he's old enough to decide where he wants to live. So I have no choice but to let him go live with his dad, which breaks my heart. So he goes and lives with his dad. And, he consults with Brother Doug, and Brother Doug realizes, he's making the decision that, it's what he really wants to do at that point. But that brings back a lot of other memories for me. So I'll rewind back about 23 years from that. I lost a baby, which was another really, really hard time for me. So there was a lot of loss for me. I had also lost my dad in 2007. So when you start losing people is really, really hard. That doesn't even start to touch on things. And I know Ethan is still here, but at that time when he left home, it didn't really matter, because he was not in the home with me. So, we did a lot of moving during that time. We lived with Mom. We moved in with her in like this little bitty house. It was, at times we had 7 people and 2 dogs in like an 800 square foot house every other weekend. We were like on top of each other, literally. But never once, even though we were moving, seemed like every year or every other year, did I wonder where God was? Or did I let my faith waver? I kept on keeping on. And I never gave up. Because I thought, if I give up, what kind of example am I setting for my kids? So, through many prayers and trusting and believing in God's promises, now I have to fast forward to about 2 years ago. We were able to have a roof over our head, to a perfect spot in Gornsville, thanks to a friend named Kenny Preston.
And over a year ago, I became a team leader over 5 lines at the place where I work to a great group of people. And they gave me a chance to this little old country girl. And all I ever had was just a high school education. But I saved the best for last. I've now got joint custody of Ethan again, and he now lives in my house again. And I know y'all see him coming in here to church, and he brings his little entourage of friends about every other Sunday. And he has, last Sunday, when those boys came in here and came in on the front row, they didn't even spend the night with us. He has that much influence on them boys that those 2 boys came Easter Sunday just because he has that much influence over them boys. And I'm just so thankful that he has such a heart for God. And I just want to, that's all I have, but I just want to leave with these 2 verses. Romans 8:28, and we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose for them. James 1:2-4, dear brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow. For when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. And that's all I have.